Well, welcome to our next segment, Spotlight on Chamber Member Businesses. We are diving into the world of businesses who are chamber members, and joining us live today is
Sheryl Queen.
and I'm Diana Aliberti, Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce, and our guest today,
I'm Ted Tiger.
awesome Ted, and you are a company that's making it happen. You're making some waves.
Things are very good. My company's official name is Tiger Investment Services.
Excellent. And where could we find you?
Well, I am physically in Winthrop. You can go to my website, which is tigerinvestmentservices.com, or you can call 617-539-5700.
Excellent. Well, welcome to the show. It's so great for you to be here with us. That's what happens, I guess, when you send an email to somebody up on a show. But we're
All
excited.
good.
I know it is, isn't it? We're excited to kind of dive into your story. Of course, I love your branding. You came in with a great built-in brand
Pretty
with
much.
your last name, right?
It was easy.
It was easy, right?
It was easy.
But how? Tell me a little bit about you personally. How did you get to where you're at?
I started out as a high school science teacher. So I have a degree in geology and a degree in botany. And there was a company in Chicago. I was in Vermont. They were in Chicago. And they needed somebody who understood precious metals and agricultural products. So I ended up joining them. And since then, that's what I've been doing. I started out in 1978. And I've been with a lot of the major firms, E.F. Hutton, Smith Barney, Payne Weber. And in 2007, I decided to go independent, which was really scary, but it turned out to be very useful and helpful to my clients because with the larger firms, the wirehouses in particular, there are certain limitations on what you can do, and I don't have those limitations anymore.
Gotcha. What are you most excited about? Like, I know there's a lot to unpack here, and we'll unpack it all. But what are you excited about for this year that's happening with your company?
We're making very good progress in servicing our clients, and that's what it's all about. And the nature of the business is very exciting, but there's always more to know than anybody can know. So we're always learning, and there are challenges. I mean, we're the most regulated industry there is. So we have to deal with that pretty often.
How competitive would you say the market is? Is there, is it super
It's very, very competitive, and it's generational also. There are people that everybody has investment needs, and to find someone who you can work with, it can be a challenge. In the industry itself, I don't want to speak in generalities, many corporations in our industry push their people to produce, which sometimes causes them to deviate from doing what's right. And we emphasize doing what's right.
Right. And when anybody works at those businesses, they are the business, right? They're the front to the business. So
Right.
it's you being on your own is really significant too.
Well, we have, and I speak with we, I did take on a partner 3 years ago, but he's in Saco, Maine. So that's, he wears flannel shirts and stuff like that. And, but we have some guidelines and philosophies that we use. For example, if I don't understand a product, it's probably a bad idea to recommend it.
Right.
If a client has to sign a document in more than 2 places, may not be the best idea. If a client's not comfortable with something, not going to happen.
Right. And we're going to dive a little bit more deeply into your core offering. And we had spoken before we went live about, speaking in layman's terms, and I think you do a very good job at,
Thanks.
kind of speaking to your audience that way. So we're going to kind of just drill it down a little bit and talk about your core offering, what problems you're solving, and how your customers are responding.
So one of the first things we say to people is, not everybody has a Volvo station wagon, 2.3 children, and a golden retriever. Everybody's a little different.
Right.
And the way we operate is to customize everything. A 27-year-old has different needs, objectives, and timeframes than somebody who's 70. So we try to address those issues and figure out what's the right thing to do.
And what would somebody typically come to you for? What types of financial components are you offering?
Yeah, first of all, the biggest fear that we've seen is people are afraid that they're going to outlive their money. So we try to figure out a strategy for that. Sometimes it's unrelated to what we do. It might be getting credit card debt under control. It might be occupational, or it might be healthcare, which we refer them to people that can help them in those areas. But everybody's a little different, so we have to do things a little differently.
Is it a little bit of psychotherapy as well?
Sometimes we address people's objectives, but we also look at the risks that they don't necessarily understand. There's a perception, well, I want to be conservative, but what does that mean? It means different things to different people.
Right.
So we find out what they really mean.
Right. You have to kind of peel back the layers, I think, to find
Yep.
out what they really mean or what they really think. But I think also sometimes it's hard for people to have those conversations about maybe like a woulda, coulda, shoulda piece, especially like if they're just trying to like maybe talk about things that they should have done. And so I think it's nice to have somebody local,
Yeah.
and an individual that you can probably be candid with and be like, I kind of
Another thing with people
went
that
off the rails.
that approach people like me in our company is they think that we have, you have to have $1 million to work with us. It's more important that we get along.
Right.
I have some clients that have a few $1,000s as their life savings, and other people that have millions, that's their life savings, and they get equal time.
Right.
Would you say that's the biggest misconception people have when they come in for your services? Is that you need to have millions of dollars in order to invest?
That's one of them. The other one is they're uncomfortable. Most people are uncomfortable
Right.
talking about money.
Right. It's
So
kind of stems from how we were raised, right?
it can be.
Yeah.
Depends what generation you are.
and also like what mistakes maybe we're coming in with thinking.
Everybody
we have
makes
baggage,
mistakes.
Right? I know. That's
It's okay.
That's par for the course, right?
Right. It's part of the experience.
Exactly. I love that you are kind of meeting people where they're at and doing the problem solving. What's a typical age of somebody that would come to see you? Are you seeing a younger generation coming in?
Well, I am, but when we take care of a family, we're taking care of all the
Gotcha.
generations.
Gotcha.
I was working on a 529 plan, which is a way to plan for paying for education, paying tuition and stuff. And it has some good features, and I was working on one of those today. On the other hand, I was also working with the parent, and in another case, I was working with a grandparent who was trying to take care of their grandkids. It's all of it. It's everyone.
Right. That's very, very cool. I know you had some questions, Sheryl.
Yeah, he answered. Ted answered one of them already, and I do believe you might have answered my first one. But let's dive in a little deeper. How does your approach to investments differ from the large major companies out there,
Sure.
and what you offer?
So I don't have proprietary product. So I don't have the Smith Barney doesn't exist anymore. I don't have the Merrill Lynch family of mutual funds. I have everything. I can offer Fidelity, but I can also offer T. Rowe Price or Vanguard, or I tend to go to smaller boutique when it comes to mutual funds anyway, mutual fund families, because they're more nimble than the large ones. I'm not putting people into, we call them silos. well, here's my conservative silo, here's my medium risk silo, here's my high risk silo, and everybody that wants to be high risk goes in there. I just don't do that. So I look to find stuff. The large companies, first of all, they charge more than I do. And they also have limited availability of different things. On the other hand, they create product. That's done for various reasons. So they do have some things that I probably won't be interested in, but they have things. Mostly it's being able to be nimble and diverse.
And if somebody is currently using one of those very large companies and they want to come to you, how easy is it for you to analyze what they currently have? And maybe
That part's very easy. I shouldn't say it's very easy. I can do it fairly quickly. If somebody hands me, well, here's my portfolio at Bank of America or something, I can say, okay, great, and I can do multiple types of analysis of it within a couple of days. And then I can come back and say, okay, usually I come back with questions. Why do you own that? How come, is this working for you? Do you like that? Because some people, I'm going to use my nephew as an example. He owns 6 shares of Harley Davidson. And it's in its own account, and that's all that's in that account. And the reason is his father gave it to him when he was very young, like 3 or 4 years old, and he still has it. So that's a reason to keep something like that. Whether or not it's a good investment doesn't matter.
yeah, it's
Sentimental.
personal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, that's great.
What would you recommend people do? Should they have their finances analyzed once a year? Is that what you,
We try to do account reviews quarterly.
quarterly?
We're a little bit of an anomaly. We're a little
Right.
bit of an exception because when you talk to somebody who does formal financial planning, they'll say, well, we do it every year. My life changed from winter to summer, so also things are moving very quickly
It's
these
fluid.
days. And actually, that's one of the changes over the course of the last 15 years, that the dissemination of information is lightning fast now. And because of that, I think we have to pay more attention to stuff. So quarterly, plus I like my clients, so
I think
it's good to
that's-
chat with them.
I think that's really a differentiation piece for you. Like, I feel like having attention on your accounts quarterly is a huge piece of the equation. It really tells me something about why you've been in business for so long.
Also, I'm old.
You don't have any hobbies?
Hobbies? Well, yeah, like most people. I play golf
Oh, you do?
and we garden.
I like that too. You have a
So-
beautiful garden. And
Right.
you've served the community so well. We're lucky to have you.
Well, thanks. We
Yes.
try to help.
Well, that's, you can show people the door and it's up to them to walk through it. But it sounds like, if you're reviewing things quarterly, you kind of can be an invaluable resource for people. Because we do bury our heads in the sand when it comes to certain things. And we're just, it's a rinse repeat for many people, just going about their
well,
day.
different clients have different. I have some clients I know they look at their accounts every day. I don't look at my accounts every day, and
Right.
that's just So that's one extreme. Then there's the other people that get their statement in the mail and they don't even open the envelope. It's like,
That's me.
okay. And then there's other people that open the envelope, look at the first page of their statement, and they go, okay, that's where I was last month, here's where I am this month, great, thank you, in the trash or in their folder or wherever it goes. What I try to get clients to do is when they get their monthly statement or look at it online, to look at the whole thing. Because if they see something they don't understand, I want to explain it to them. I want them to understand what their statement's information really is. And that helps them as much. It helps them because it makes life easier for me if they know what they're looking at.
Right, right. Did you get a lot of phone calls from people that were kind of freaked out about the market?
Which day?
Like recent, let's just say
Within the
let's
last
just-
month.
Well, not in the 1920s, but
Look,
like recently.
We like to, in our industry, we like consistency. We don't really like
Right.
surprises. However, black swans, that's what we call them, based on the book called Black Swan, which I think you can get down at the Book Depot. Now, on the Black Swan is an unexpected event. The pandemic was
Right.
an unexpected event, natural causes, and you make adjustments because of that. Recent volatility is a little bit different. Yes, it's a black swan, but it's artificially induced, if you will. And that creates more uncertainty because we don't know what the next move might be. It makes it more challenging.
It's just nice to kind of have a professional that you could actually have that explanation from. I think, there are opportunities though, and it just kind of depends what lens people look through, right?
All adversity breeds opportunity.
Right. I mean, COVID was one of those examples of like you could really just hunker down and recalibrate a lot of things and, find out, look at things and say that was certain, this is not certain, and then just kind of
Right.
get a grip on things. So that's nice to have that safety net in you as a professional to be able to say, okay, what's really happening and how can I best shore up what I have going on? So that makes for something super powerful. Did you have another question that you were wanting to ask as well?
No, just from a financial literacy question, and now knowing you were a teacher in your former life, do you think that our public schools, our private schools, our higher education do enough to educate our youth on financial literacy?
Some higher education does. The rest of the answer is no. It's really kind of discouraging. There used to be, actually I think the program may still exist, a thing called Junior Achievement, where, and I used to be involved with it, we'd go into a school and teach the kids how to use a checkbook.
Yep, I remember that.
Although now it's Venmo, which that's part of the problem, not the solution. But we used to go in and teach them how to read the Wall Street Journal. These are what the numbers mean and look like. And then I think that kids at all ages should be learning something about that. And it might be going to the Winthrop market on a weekly basis and monitoring the price of tomatoes, or I guess the easy one is eggs, and learning about how, and think about why those prices changed from one time to another.
It's pretty exciting, and I think, when you have that time, right, you can let your money compound or you can let your money leak out, and it wouldn't take a lot, I think, for a young person to kind of get into a system of working to get his money to compound or her money to compound.
Right. I'm limited on who I can help. You have to be of age or have a custodian
Right.
if you're younger. But yeah, just having recognizing what the difference is between a savings account and a money market fund,
Right.
which the difference is the money market fund pays more, by the way.
Right. Yes. So tell us a little bit about what you have going on in the future. Like if you look ahead to see what you see for your company in the next maybe 5 years or so, what would that look like?
In the next 5 years, I'm looking to delegate more and more responsibility to my partner. His name's Ellis, and possibly taking on someone else. But I am taking care of, one of the things we are doing is, I am doing is limiting the number of clients that I'm taking on. I have room now because there was some attrition, which was done due to death, actually, is my main attrition, which is not fun, but it's what it is. But I see us growing, because that's the nature of the business, is to keep it growing. And you can only coast downhill in my business. So we're never going to be coasting. And I see the markets are changing some, and the people that are getting the personal care, you made me think of like a Fidelity or a Vanguard. And a lot of people, well, I have my money at Fidelity, and I go, well, who do you talk to? I don't know, I call an 800 number. Or I've got somebody that sometimes answers the phone. That's not the case with a small business like mine. We are who you talk to.
So thank you for sharing that. If we only had a few more minutes, what else would you want our viewers to know?
Wow. That's a good challenge.
Well, I think you hit on the fact that you're approachable and you're here local.
We are, and I'm actually, I'll do some licensing things. Our licenses are called a series. I have multiple licenses. I have a series 3, 7, 63, 65, and a 24, and I'm a fiduciary. The fiduciary means that I am actually required to do the right thing for the client. And it's called a BIA, a best interest analysis that we have to do. That along with I'm licensed in 26 states.
Oh, wow.
That's where my client base is. The vast majority are in Massachusetts, but they're all in, furthest away I have a client in Alaska, and then obviously I have local people as well. So I think everybody should be saving money. And the methodology for saving money is sometimes difficult to figure out. Again, someone who has $1,000 to their name, that's really important to them. Someone who has $5 million to their name, that's important to them.
Right.
But everybody's savings is important, and money needs to be working at all times. So that's what I do, figure out how to make the money work.
I think that's a powerful message, Ted, and I really appreciate you saying that. I think that releases a lot of people to think like I'm a small guy or I just have a little bit to play with, and that's actually the purpose of it, is to grow whatever you have.
Right.
And to make sure it's not leaking out, and to have a professional lead you down the path of the best decisions, right?
I think so.
So can you tell our viewers again, Ted, where they can find you?
My website is Tiger Investment Services. It's actually LLC. You can also probably Google me, Ted Tiger, or Tiger Investment Services. My phone number locally is 617-539-5700.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
It
for
was
taking
fun.
time. Yeah,
This was
Happy
great.
to do
yeah,
it.
absolutely.
We appreciate you, and we'll be back momentarily.